More information is trickling out tonight about who the pilot was and what his final moments were like. Now, look at what we have. Several feet of snow that I'm standing in right now. These search warrants detail the movements of 45-year-old Kevin Quick. And the fumes, which have irritated even my throat. Quick is a captain in the Waynesboro Police Department's reserve unit. He was last seen Friday night. What's even more disturbing to most people is the defense he used. Just in the past few minutes, we saw a helicopter with UVA Medical Center land here. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're taking in more clients, rather dealing with the most serious of ones. Snowplows coming through right now through Rosser Avenue. I have my own story this morning. I have an SUV and I could not get out of my driveway. I was stranded when I was on my way to this live shot here, and our chief photographer, Chavis Carter, had to come to the rescue and pick me up. So even if you have an SUV, these roads are very treacherous. Needless to say, I did not pass the test. And while school officials say it's helpful to know who's coming into the buildings, now they can keep track of who exits and when. And after hours of hard work, this is just some of the trash collected from the river today. They'll also have the opportunity to get to play with the animals. These parents live in fear that their children are just one seizure away from cognitive impairment or even death. Now they're trying to break down misconceptions surrounding medical marijuana to prevent a tragedy.
Our kids can't wait. We don't know how long Lucy has.
2.5-year-old Lucy is affable, curious, and loves to play and read with her parents, Travis and Melissa Roden. But in the midst of celebrating new parenthood, their little bundle of joy began suffering from convulsions.
We just want to give her every option, every good moment that we can.
Doctors eventually diagnosed Lucy with a rare genetic disorder called Dravet syndrome. Among children with epilepsy, she falls into the 1/3 of cases that endure uncontrollable seizures, sometimes dozens a day. Lucy takes all kinds of medications, but no drug has made much of a difference, not to mention troubling side effects like imbalance, weight loss, psychosis, or aggression.
You've been seeing her hit tonight, and that's not like her. One of the associates, thank you. Yeah.
The Rodens thought medical marijuana sounded like quackery until they learned of Charlotte's Web, a strain that's low in the ingredients typically associated with a high.
Medical marijuana shows great promise in treating those seizures. And we really feel that everybody deserves to have every option available to them, especially Lucy, because her seizures are so catastrophic.
Hundreds of families like this one have exhausted their options at home and flocked to Colorado to try out medical marijuana in the form of an ointment. The Rodens do not advocate smoking the drug or recreational use.
We don't want to leave. This is our home. This is where our friends are, our family is, this is where our community is. This is where our doctors are, and we do not want to do this without our doctors.
This week, the Rodens, along with other families in Virginia, met with policymakers in Richmond pleading their case.
She's failed 21 pharmaceutical drugs or combinations of them. Last year, she had over 800 seizures in 208 days. We're actually told there is nothing else for her to try.
Lisa Smith's daughter, Haley, also lives with Dravet syndrome. The family's first neurologist was none other than Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam. After bringing their cause to him and his aides,
I have hope. I feel that there's been people put in our lives at the right time, and this is going to be something that happens. And I think what we need to do now is just educate the public, educate the legislatures, to let them know that she's not going to be smoking something.
The group calls the Collins family medical refugees. Mother Beth and daughter Jennifer have moved to Colorado, leaving Father Patrick Collins here in Virginia. After just a few months of experimentation with medical marijuana,
she is experiencing increased cognition. She says she can think better. She's scoring better on math tests and other tests that she previously could not.
Her seizures have been cut in half, but
it doesn't make sense to us that we can't be together and have a healthy child.
These families will go to the ends of the earth if that's what it takes.
I don't think it should have to be this hard, but the truth of it is that it's becoming easier and easier with every step that we take.
Now, these families say that it is not their goal to fight with lawmakers, but to work with them and the public to increase awareness and eventually pass a bill to make medical marijuana allowed in Virginia for this condition. 38-year-old April Riddle and 23-year-old Jesse Balin, both of Waynesboro, are charged with manufacturing meth. Police reopened the neighborhood, which was shut down for hours around 9 p.m. And if confirmed, this is the third meth lab already uncovered for this year. Just hours ago, Waynesboro officers, a SWAT team, and Virginia State Police raided this house, sending shockwaves through the community.
At first, freaking out because I see a fire truck and blue lights from up the street look like in front of my house, but then I realized it was further down.
Tony Clark stumbled upon the scene of an ongoing investigation at the house at 682 Sherwood Avenue. Clark says he's surprised, but rumors had been swirling for some time.
A little more traffic late at night than should be, I would think.
When officers stormed in, their equipment detected chemicals like ammonia used to cook meth. Then they started asking questions to all 5 people found in the house at the time that the warrant was issued.
Sometimes when you look at this house, you know, with the way it's adorned, you know, the pigs and things like that, some people that drive by, it looks like just a regular house.
Police took 2 people into custody after hosing them down in this decontamination area. A few police officers experienced minor irritation, but it could have been much worse. Of course, with these types of investigations, safety can be a cause for concern. And other than the fumes, which have irritated even my throat, being out here for about a half an hour, no injuries have been reported.
We know that methamphetamine is a problem here in the valley. We are very well aware of that. It's an ongoing problem. It never faded, even when bath salts really started to surge.
For Clark, he and his family will sleep well tonight.
It's very unnerving, and that's why I'm glad to see all this going on. It's like, because tomorrow, it's going to be a safer neighborhood.
For 5 days, family and friends have lived in agony and feared the worst, but they say they won't stop until they find Kevin and know the truth.
It's been tough. I'm not going to lie about that. It's been really hard. It's shocking news. I mean, it's the worst possible case scenario that the family's going through right now.
Kevin Quick, his father and brother have all worked or volunteered in law enforcement. Even though they know the drill, that hasn't made this process any easier.
He's the kind of guy that he would give you the shirt off his back. That kind of a guy. He would do anything for anybody.
Childhood friends, relatives, and fellow officers divided up in search of Quick Wednesday. They say they will leave no stone unturned and even venture to remote areas of Fluvanna County.
We just want to find him.
Quick's younger brother, Glenn, says even though Kevin had been laid off recently from his job of 18 years, he would never just run off. Over the weekend, they knew something was wrong when Quick missed his younger brother's birthday party and didn't show up to see his baby girl Friday night.
He just likes to help people. That's just his nature. You can call him any time of the day or night, and he'd be there to help you out.
The timing couldn't be worse. The Quicks are still reeling from the loss of Kevin Quick's father, Ron, last year. But the community is standing by the family who has sacrificed so much.
The support and the messages and the phone calls, it's overwhelming. It's phenomenal.
That community support has been adding up in the form of cash. The reward for information that leads to Quick has now hit $30,000.